Hello and welcome to Animazing Collector Circle Chat podcast. We have an amazing topic today, and we got some amazing members to pretty much talk on the month of December here. Very busy month, so happy to have all of you here. And for anyone new, introduce yourselves again.
Hey everyone, I'm Brandon, and I've been an anime collector for a long time. I collect Japanese Blu-rays, DVDs, to U.S. releases, manga, figures, a few, but tapestries as well. And so, yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for having me.
We're happy to have you. And I'm Domino, and I've been here for all the episodes so far. But if you're new here, I am a very avid collector in quite a variety of things: manga, anime, um, even horror movies. I'm not that big on that one, but I also have figures and video games and art books, and I do have a plethora of wall scrolls, but not as many tapestries. Other than that, and then, but yeah, I have a wild assortment, and so I'm here to talk about whatever.
Well, my name is Roger. I've been, of course, I happen to lead and be the imperious leader of Animazing. So anything you need to blame, I need to blame it on Ed because I have the authority to do so. But I've been around anime for a long time. At least to me, I watched anime as a kid in the mid '70s with Star Blazers, Battle of the Planets, Transwars. Of course, all these names are completely different. Even though and of course, you fast forward now, I collect a couple more things I didn't collect before. I specialize in anime, Blu-ray, laser discs. Again, more and more laser discs, and I find them fascinating. DVDs, some videos, of course. I've kind of expanded into manga. I have a real strong interest in art books, anything to do with thin things like plastic laminated idle cards, pencil boards, anything like that. I don't know what it is. I like organizing them. Of course, recently I just got into figures. I have a smidgen small collection compared to other people around here. As for I did collect quite a few posters back in the day. I did a lot of that, but I kind of grew out of it. It's just I lost kind of lost interest after getting the Record of Lotus War one and Irritate Serious stuff and all that kind of stuff. If I have any tapestries, it would have been something incidental because I bought I think I bought the Fate, Fate, Heaven's Feel set, and I think it came with something. That's of course it's all this stuff about tapestry is kind of confusing, anyways. They always come in different sizes and stuff like that. But let me not reminisce. I'll let Brandon talk about that. It was just a learning experience for me as well. Maybe someday I'll even consider buying something like that. Thank you.
And I hope you do, Roger.
Well, it does not like I have extra empty spaces in my wall. They kind of put stuff up in there, all kind of stuff like that. So,
Oh. Well, we're talking about space. That's going to be part of the discussion for sure here and how we handle that. But
well, make sure space is actively used efficiently. That's how I think
yes.
of it. So yeah, everything has a square and an exponent. Yeah, make sure to put the right spot.
But anyway, I'm the last person here. My name's Ed. I help a little bit on the group here, putting people together and helping bring topics and um, pretty much talk about any collections for anime, manga, you name it. And as you've seen a little bit from the introductions here, that you kind of got hinted that today's topic might be something about tapestries and wall scrolls. Again, for a little bit of anyone who doesn't really know what those are, um, suffice to say they're pretty much just art pieces that can be cloth, um, plastic material, kind of like movie posters, but again, depending on the material, it's usually just some sort of cloth material that you can hang on the wall on various sizes. And we have several examples here. I know Brandon has some willing to share. But what are your thoughts on tapestries in general? Do you love them, not love them, space?
Well, as the person that's really new to this particular subject matter, I have to say that my collection is completely incidental. If it actually I bought a set because for whatever reason, sometimes a anime is released and they have different levels of sets. You get the deluxe set, you get this kind of origin set, you get this set. I just happened to pick out the one that had some tapestries and other, those acrylic things and stuff like that. So it just kind of materialized with the box, and I said, well, that's pretty cool. It's rolled up, and it's just a pain to unroll things. The things are so must, just like when you leave the sleeping dog lie. I say, you know what? This is a dark area where if I decide to get involved with it, it might be pretty bad. Perhaps I should just leave it alone and
Hmm.
move on to that, move on to other stuff. Because the last time I got really really addicted to something was on the art books, and so I still haven't recovered from that. So yeah.
You'll be a
I
believer.
do what?
Roger will be a believer pretty soon.
Oh yeah, I love tapestries and wall scrolls, and I have a whole bunch, but they're like in a boxes. I just don't have a lot of space for them, especially in this room. I do have a little more in the other rooms, and eventually I'm gonna start putting a little more up, and I'll do pictures when I start spreading those out. But I do like I've got a lot of them from just pre-ordering video games or there the fair that comes here every year. Back in the day, they had a vendor who had a whole plethora of wall scrolls that you could choose from, and so I would always look for the more harder to find ones from like maybe an Oh My Goddess one versus all the millions of Inuyasha ones that were in there, that kind of thing. And even Sailor Moon was hard to find. Like, come on. But yeah, and then I also have some mini ones I've gotten from some of the swap meets around here. It's hard to get legit wall scrolls around at least the states. I mean, you can get they're everywhere. But yeah, if you want the legit ones, you gotta kind of buy from Japan, but
Like
they're
it's
not always the cheapest.
that's expensive shipping from
It,
Japan.
yeah, and especially because it's not like a DVD that they can put in a little box. It's a long
Oh,
tube.
it's a strange tube.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
maybe something from CD Japan. Something maybe it might be something there. When I order stuff from like the Hatsune Miku stuff, they always offer something like that. If you get a bonus item, you buy
Hmm.
the set, you get this Hatsune Miku, kind of tapestry looking thing. I said, well, I guess it's all right. Yes, I just want the Hatsune Miku.
As far as the tapestry stuff goes, I feel like it's one of those things where you're going back to the whole like authenticity of it, whether it's legit or not. You also have to kind of know what you're looking for too. So especially anyone that collects Japanese anime, like Blu-rays, DVDs, you'll notice that there's a lot of times where they do include bonuses. Tokutin is actually what they're called, and so they'll have different size dimensions. And a lot of times this will happen with posters as well that come over there, that the dimensions are going to be different compared to the US. And I don't remember offhand, but I know there's several sizes as far as tapestries go. You can do like A4 sized, there's B2, B1, B0 is like one of the largest ones. And then you've got like A3, which can also be for posters as well. That a lot of times that Japanese companies will release their anime with bonus items that will either have like a clear file that's like A3 sized or A2 sized, but then it'll also come with, for buying all 6 volumes of a show, it'll come with a bonus of like a tapestry that's like B2 sized. I know like one of the largest ones that I have um, is from Darling in the Franxx, actually.
Oh. Oh.
Here we go. Can't wait to
It
see it.
starts.
I'm sure it's massive. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
And I don't remember the actual dimensions on this one, but it's really, really big. Um,
Oh.
but it's 02. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, just want to make sure.
What?
Ah.
So there's this one, but
Whoa.
this was for actually a linked bonus for like the first, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 volumes because the show is like 11 volumes, I want to say. So what happens is when they have a 2 core show, core basically means season in Japan. So 1 core constitutes 11 to 13 episodes. 2 core is 22 to 26 episodes. So typically when they do a two-course show and they have single volume sets, they'll have additional bonus items as halved link bonuses. So like you buy volumes 1 through 6 of a 12-volume show, you'll get a linked bonus item. And then if you buy volumes 7 through 12, you'll get a bonus item for that. So there's a lot of times where they do that too.
Hmm.
Miami does that too.
They do. Yes, they totally do.
An example when you're ready there.
Yeah, this one from Kata Nagatari, not Kata Nagatari, sorry, Kizo Monogatari, is Hanekawa Tsubasa.
Hmm.
The best girl. Best girl.
Yeah. And, honestly, I can't remember what movie this bonus was. I want to say it was from the second one that I got, because there were actual several bonuses for that show. Because I've got like, let's see. Well, I'll just have to kind of go through the line here. But like Scum's Wish for all 6 volumes, you get a tapestry like this. But what's cool is like, a lot of times in Japan, they'll actually do numerous bonus items depending on the store you order from. So, and most of the time it is a tapestry. So like for this show in particular, there were, I want to say 5 or 6 different tapestries
Did you get
that you could order from. What's that?
Did you get the one you wanted?
I did, but I also didn't. There's one from store Torano Ana that does a lot of like, I would say, suggestive artwork on their bonus items, and they had a really cool one for Scum's Wish that I really wanted to get. So maybe later on down the road I can find all the other ones. But then I've got like several others. So like another one I have is, this was another one from Kizo Monogatari as a bonus, and I want to say this was from movie 3.
Oh, nice. That's cute. I like that one.
And usually a lot of times when they do bonus items, especially the tapestries, for like a specific store, so like this one was from Amazon Japan, all the ones that I got for Kizo Monogatari, they like to keep the dimensions the same. So I want to say like this one is about the same size as the last one I showed you, and then the third one will be about the same size as this one as well. So like they kind of like to keep it the same. I want to say, and I could be wrong, I think this is the B2 sized tapestry, and that's a lot of the dimensions that a lot of them come in. But then there's the unusual like B1 or B0 size that they'll do.
Do you have like a B0?
This, yeah, I might be able to pull one out here.
Okay.
But this actually is a U.S. release of Samurai Champloo's bandana from the original Volume 1 U.S. release from Geneon. This was the bandana they released as ordering the Volume 1 from Geneon USA. So that actually features exclusive art. Not really a tapestry, but it's a cloth fabric, so I figure it might be part of the deal. The other one I have, and if you notice, this actually is a similar size to the last Kizo Monogatari. This is from Fate. Honestly, I don't remember what movie it's from. It is... Oh, it's the second one. It's the second one. Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Yeah. I like the artwork to Type Moon stuff because it's not overly detailed and it's simplistic, but it's also very colorful. So I like the way they do the art style for that for those shows and the movies. That franchise does a good job with that stuff. The next one I'm going to show you is... Oh, so remember the 02 one I showed you that was pretty long? Well, this is about the same.
That was nice too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was for getting the volumes 1 through, I think, 5, I want to say. So, yeah, that was a nice set. And the material, it's interesting, because if you notice, like, the material is going to be a little bit thicker as opposed to some other Tapestries. So that's also what you're going to want to look for as far as like authentic, legit stuff. I mean, I've been to some places, even in the U.S., in some shops that'll sell, wall scrolls or tapestries that that'll have them hung up and all that, but the material is very, very like cheaply made.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. This one is from the first movie of Kizo Monogatari. I like this one a lot.
Is that what's her face? Yeah, that's what I was expecting. That's nice.
Nice.
Shinobu.
Shinobu, yeah.
Yeah. Heart Underblade, I think. She's got like a really long name, but
Yep.
but yeah, this is from the first movie. This was Amazon Japan exclusive, and I love the art on this one. For this show, it also came with a binder that held miniature-sized replica keyframes
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's even better.
already
I like
hole
that better.
punched, so you could actually like you could actually put them in the binder without destroying the keyframes.
Hmm.
So,
That's nice.
yeah, I'll have to pull that out in some video or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah. This is another rare one, and I know we were talking about banana fish earlier.
Oh.
I have a huge, I'm a huge fan of Jose titles,
Yes.
and Jose is basically like lady comics,
Mhm.
and so there's a show that aired back in 2000. I want to say it was like 14 or 15. What was it, an OVA? It got bundled with 2 manga. It's called Shinra Genroku Rakugo Shinju.
Mm-hmm.
Very underrated series about a rakugo storytelling. It's like comedic storytelling, like the early days where people would sit on a tatami mat and tell stories, but usually it's one person that will tell the story playing like 8 different characters.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Highly recommend it. The Blu-ray set, the first episode is the director's cut, and it's like an hour and 50 minutes long.
Yeah.
But this is actually season 2's Amazon Japan Tapestry.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And so basically it's just the story about this guy that like gets out of prison and decides he wants to be a a rakugo storyteller. So it's really good. Another one I have is this is from oh my gosh, now I can't remember the name of the show. Hanabado, I think. Hang on. Yeah, I think that's the show. Yeah, Hanabado.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the Amazon Japan one. A lot of the stuff I used to order from Amazon Japan, so this is one of the items. And as you notice, it's about the same size as those previous ones I'd shown you. So there's times where they're going to be different dimensions, but also like it's hard to frame stuff as well. In my anime screening room I have down in my basement, I actually have several tapestries from Honey and Clover and Wotakoi. I've got the 2 tapestries down there that I have framed. And I went over to this art supply store called Michael's, and
they got good frames for cheap.
Got these nice frames over there, and I actually measured out the tapestries, brought my measuring deal with me up to Michael's, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna measure this out and figure out what good dimension size would work, and it like works perfectly. It's just like a clear glass framing with like a black frame around it, and it just looks great. So if you're looking for a good way to actually hang tapestries, do not poke holes through them. That's like
no.
I've seen people do that before.
If you're gonna keep it and whatever, fine. But yeah,
even
you don't
then,
want. Yeah,
I would suggest.
like it.
I would just suggest either framing it or really double-sided tape. Actually,
Yeah.
those are probably your best choices, unless you have those rods that a lot of the American or even I don't know if you have any. You have some in the back there, Brandon.
Actually, yeah, the rods actually.
The rods.
What they're doing in Japan, they're actually supplying them to the people that get the tapestries now, and I've got them in the last like 4 tapestries that I have. So like, Liquor's Recoil, this rod I have up here was actually supplied by them.
Hmm.
Like I didn't have to. And basically, they give you two sets of rods, and then they so there's four total. And sometimes if it's one this large, they'll give you like 6 to 8, and then that way you can fit them. I don't know if you can see this down here. That way you can fit them here um, along the whole side of it. So it's cool that they do that. Plus they give you several strings, so you can tie it. So it'll be like tied up like this one. I don't know if you can see that, but
Yep.
yeah, it'll be tied up like that. Um, so yeah, so that's typically what they've been doing lately, which is very cool. I think that's neat that they're offering that, especially when the tapestries now have like those holes on them, so you can actually pop those rods in.
Yeah.
Because I know I've got one for Eurocamp, uh, which is this one where the rods were actually supplied.
Mm-hmm.
So if you notice, there's going to be holes in there. So you
Yeah,
can
no,
go ahead and
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and
So it saves the collector a little bit of money that way.
also it's easier to ship too.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, do tapestries typically come with that eyelet or built inside the tapestry, or is that something that some do, some don't, depending?
Some
It just
don't.
depends.
Yeah,
I
some don't
mean,
have that.
yeah, most of the time, a lot of the ones like the ones that I showed you, um, don't, but like the ones I have hanging
They
already
do.
did, and they came with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's pretty simple. You know, but how would you tell? How could you tell if you were buying one? How would you know if it was hangable like that?
Sometimes they'll tell you on the site in like real fine print at the bottom of the
Yeah.
Blu-ray
Mm-hmm.
Japanese release, or you could always email them as well.
Sometimes they have a
Um,
picture of it.
and yeah, and they'll have a picture of it. Typically, what I do, also if I'm like interested in that, is like checking like on Twitter and typing in the Japanese characters for that show, and then typing like B2 or A4 or A2 or B1, and seeing if anyone's posted it with the link, and then contact them. I've done that before.
Hmm.
And that seems to work pretty well too. But a lot of times, I mean, like this one also came with rods as well. This is called Sora no Woto.
Hmm.
It means Her Blue Sky. It's a Noitimina film that came out in 2017 or 18. If you notice, the character designs are pretty familiar. The character designer is Masayoshi Tanaka, who did the character designs for Anohana, Anthem of the Heart, Your Name, all of Makoto Shinkai's latest movies. So like Your Name, Weathering with You, Suzume. They're doing a new movie coming out next year called Fureru. It's
Yeah,
about three men that are bonded by a mythical hedgehog.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so the creators of this show, Her Blue Sky, did Anthem of the Heart, and they're doing this next one called Fureru as well. But yeah, so this is a tapestry. This one does come with rods, but the thing you'll notice is like it's got this almost like perforated edge here where there's stitching. I don't know if you can
so you could slip
I don't
it
know if you
through.
can see that
Yeah.
here, but
Yep.
there's stitching here. Um, it's kind of a gamble as far as really kind of what to know, depending on if the site will tell you whether or not it's hangable or not. Um, I haven't noticed anything majorly as far as like whether it's hanging. Sometimes the site will tell you at the very bottom whether it can be like if it comes with rods and that kind of thing.
Or
I
if you
know that
take
there's
a
a couple
picture,
of
you can see if it has the stitching, and you can kind
yeah,
of that.
there's that too because a lot of times like when people will post, you can double check their posts on the tapestry and be like, oh yeah, there's stitching there. So that's also like a way to do too. But like I said, it's kind of a gamble as to whether or not. But you can also frame them too, and that looks good too. So
So before you continue, I wanted to show this one off real quick.
yeah,
You can also get tapestries from Ami Ami from certain figures. They'll offer a freebie, and so this is one I had near me. This is from Honkai Impact, which is a mobile game, but they also have it on computer and all that. And I wanted the character Konami, and it came with a nice tapestry of her.
Hmm.
So
Oh
you got
wow.
a picture of her, and then there's they gave you a wall scroll with it. Yeah, this one actually had the tubes and everything.
I
But
like the
yeah,
not for sale.
yeah,
That's great.
but yeah. So that was an Ami exclusive type bonus that you could have gotten, which is cool
Hmm.
because you know the figures are not cheap, and so it's nice when they can give you a little something.
I
And
like that.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
think it's cool when games do that, you know, because it like I don't know, it's neat when they add bonuses
or
because I
games
feel
with
like there's a
figures.
lot of
Yeah,
games. I feel like
yeah,
there's a lot of games out there that are like really bare bones release.
Mm-hmm.
Japan likes to do that a lot, and just think that's super cool.
yes. And it's cool too because if you've ever bought a used game from Japan, most of the time all the collectibles that came with that game, they'll put back in there. So you might think, oh, you're just getting a copy of the limited edition, probably gonna minus some of the items. No, about almost 90% of the time, you will get exactly every item that was in there, all even if it's stickers or something. It's amazing how well they take care of their collector's editions versus how it is here in America, where you get a collector's edition, they'll be like, "Sorry, there's no soundtrack or whatever. It's missing this." But yeah, you can really get lucky with Japan if
Yeah,
you want a
Mm-hmm.
collector's edition.
yeah, it's super cool. I like the whole idea of bonuses and store
Yeah.
bonuses, and that's where the part of the collector in me comes into play because I'm like, oh yeah, I mean the artwork is really cool, so I gotta have this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like one of those things. It's just like the big draw, you know. Like, here's one from Promised Neverland. This was the Amazon Japan bonus. This tapestry was much larger. I don't know the exact dimensions on this. Oh, it's upside down. That probably won't help. So yeah, this one's cool. This one's huge though.
Oh,
Oh
that's
wow,
nice.
yeah, that is bigger. That's probably about what, a B1?
Yeah, probably a B1 sized. Um, but yeah, so like the other ones are probably like B2.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's interesting their sizes too, because like I went over to IKEA and I was like trying to measure, trying to figure measurements on some of my other posters, and it's like I look it up online, it's like 17.2 out dimensions out of like 44.5, and I'm like, that's not like U.S. dimensions at all. Like, so weird. Um, but yeah, I mean, like Steins Gate is another one that's like a pretty large. Like
I'm just
this
like,
is Steins Gate Zero, actually, for
Oh,
getting the
zero.
Amazon Japan.
There we go.
Oh, yep, yeah, that's totally zero.
But it's cool too, because like the bonus for this, the storage box was the same exact artwork
Hmm.
as the tapestry, which I thought was kind of cool, because like if you wanted to display it, you could display it right next to each other. I know that this show in particular had at least 10 to 12 bonus store items, just
Jeez.
stored separately, that had tapestries or clear files. I've got a holographic poster that came with this too.
Hmm.
I think that I think I showed off that poster in the last video I did for the Animazing Collectors group.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and then like the other one, like this isn't a tapestry, but it's like a pretty strange bonus. It's like some kind of an apron for banana fish.
What?
I don't know. It's like really weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's like really strange. But the artwork on it is the same exact artwork as the clear file that came with it,
Hmm.
and
give me
like
that.
another poster.
Give
So yeah, it's really funny. But also like you can tell that it's not like stitched in. It was like printed on, so like you can
Hmm.
actually feel the actual print on there. So it's bizarre. I was like, what am I looking at right here?
Yeah.
Um, the other one is another Fate tapestry.
Oh, okay.
And can you all see these okay? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. I just want to make
All
sure.
good. You're
The
doing good.
lighting is a little weird in my anime room. This is from the first movie, actually, from Amazon Japan, and I know that those movies in particular had a ton of tapestry bonuses. Actually, um, those had like six at least, just tapestries. I mean, that didn't include extra clue files or keyframes as bonus items. So that was a ton. And then you've also got stuff like the really weird shows like Pet. This was a tapestry for Pet, and if you notice, like the tapestry is like really small. I don't even know what dimension this is, but it's like
Yeah.
super small. But yeah, I like the art. That show I had actually watched twice because it's like really, really hard to understand. I was like, what is going on? I'm like, government
Apparently,
organizations and like murderers with like telepathic abilities that can like, I don't know, it's just
you
crazy.
watched it twice, but I apparently bought it twice. I found a second copy in my house. I'm like, oh, oops.
That's awesome.
One to keep, one to open.
Yeah.
All for Sentai sales, I'm sure.
Oh, upside down again.
Love
All
is
right.
War.
Yeah, Love is
Kaguya-sama.
War.
This is from season 1. Yeah, this was the
Okay.
Amazon Japan bonus. And what's cool is like I think another reason why I like collecting the tapestries is because it features illustrations and artwork done by the character designer, maybe not necessarily the original character designer, but the anime character designer that features artwork that may look like it would have been in the show, but it definitely was not in the show. So I think that's another reason why I like collecting these because it just the art is like so beautiful
Mm-hmm.
and like all these tapestries. It's like really neat. That's a great show, by the way, if you haven't seen it. Another one is this is a huge tapestry. Oh, probably not as long as maybe as long as the Darling in the Franxx, but this is from the Sword Art Online, like the first movie they did, Ordinal Scale.
Okay, yeah, the infamous bath time asana.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
they actually
that
did
one
that.
also came with a weird like placemat featuring the same art, and I'm like, what? Like, this is like weird.
Well, they know
So
how they can sell.
But it has 5 of them.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's why they sold so many. Um, does anybody else have any tapestries they want to share, like, or stories about like tapestries that like you wanted to get, you couldn't get a hold of, or maybe you have some on order?
I have some cheapy ones from. Are you guys familiar with that Otaku box?
Oh, you buy into that?
I did. I gave it a couple tries. And I gave up after the 4th box, I think, because you get the same crap. You get a shirt, you get a tapestry, you get a pin, you get. For some reason, they always put a My Hero Academia figure in it, or
Yeah.
and I'm like, why? I don't care for that show at all. and
Maybe
then
that's why it's in the box.
probably junk to get rid of. And one of the figures, they're all bootleg figures, and the one I got was Rias from High School DxD,
Mm.
and she's
Yeah.
for some reason my version had 2 left hands, and I'm like, what?
Oh.
And I'm like,
Whoa.
so
Uh.
I was like,
Oh.
this is just garbage, but
It may be worth something. You never know.
it might be. I still
Uh.
because if I turn it a certain way, you don't see the other hand. So,
Weird. Weird.
but they always came with a tapestry, and the tapestries were not bad. They were nice quality, but they weren't always the best. But they had a nice little characters on it and whatever. So I have a few of those hidden somewhere around the house. But
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's hard to figure out like what tapestries to display.
well, that
Because like this is from Kiseiju,
Parasite.
Parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually from the first Blu-ray box set. I actually don't own the second one. When I tried to order it, it would sold out in pre-orders before I jumped on it.
Oh wow.
But this one, yeah, but this one, that was years ago, but this is from the first BD box. So you would get a tapestry from each one. I'd love to have the second one, but I can't find it anywhere. Um, so it's really unfortunate. It's a great series.
Hmm.
The manga, actually, the setting of it takes place in like the 80s, but then for the anime, they modernized it, which was like super cool.
Hmm.
Fun little fact about the anime and the manga. Um, Another one I have
Kiznaiver.
is Death Parade.
Oh, Death Parade. Okay.
Yeah, this one's cool. I love this one.
I like that because I scored that anime for $10.
Oh, really?
Was it the limited edition though?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. That's
Oh,
really good.
nice.
It was like a random sale they had on Right Stuff one time. I'm like, is that really $10? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
Funny story about the Death Parade set. So when I had pre-ordered it a long time ago, when it was arriving, it said the weight dimensions were like super light. So when I went to get the box at my door, um, it, there was like nothing in there. There was no Blu-ray box set. So I started opening it. I had one Tapestry and no Blu-ray set. So when I emailed them, they literally sent me out a brand new one 3 days later, and
Oh,
I
wow.
ended up with a second one of these Tapestries.
Nice.
I gave it
Oh,
out to an anime event,
oh,
um,
nice.
but yeah, it was cool. It was really cool, and it was like one of the only times I ever had issues with Amazon Japan. So
Hmm.
this is a weird like
Oh,
tapestry, but also
fabric
like
one.
a mat. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
bizarre. It's
Is
got
it
like
not like
it's
a
like a
towel?
fabric. Yeah, it's like a towel. Yeah, but this is from Idaten Peaceful Generations, also a
Hmm.
Noitimina anime. Um, yeah,
Oh
this is from
yeah.
yeah yeah. This is like one of my favorites.
I
I
can see
wonder
why.
why.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. It's pretty funny. But the actual material on it is actually much thicker. It's cottony on the back because it's gonna be like a towel. Um, but then it's like the material on the front is much thicker, almost like they like stuffed it like a blanket. It's
Hmm.
just like a blanket, basically. Um, so yeah, it's interesting the way they like come up with that stuff. Same could be said um, for like my dress up darling as well. So like that bonus,
Oh well,
like
yes.
that
Oh
that
yeah.
has like a clothy, like
Mhm.
blankety feel
You know
to
what
it.
my problem is with my dress up darling? They don't have enough merchandise for her military outfit cosplay. That's the one I want stuff for.
I guess that is true. I don't think I've seen really.
I saw a wall scroll once, and it was just a close up of her face. Really, I got that for a
Uh,
friend because he. Yeah, that's yeah. It's like
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
it.
So yeah, tapestries like, and I mean I've got this one I never opened, but it's
Uh-oh.
from Josie and the Tigerfish. It's
Ooh.
Okay.
that film that came out a couple years back by Studio Bones, but it's super small. It's probably like this big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then one of the coolest bonuses are FLCL Progressive Pajama Pants.
What?
Yeah,
That's
so
not a tapestry.
I know. One of the other ones, I can take this off the wall, is from an anime called Sing Yesterday for me.
Oh,
This also came with the rods as
Hmm.
well. So like it came with four total rods, and then it came with two sets of string too.
Hmm.
But yeah, yeah, great series. It's
Nice.
a it's it's a romance anime. Um, the other one I have is, and one of you all may have this bonus. This is from the Aniplex US site for getting the Unlimited Blade Works.
ah, okay, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so this one's really cool too. I like this one a lot. This one has a nice detail on it. Now, I would say that the fabric material is a lot thinner compared to some of the other ones that I've shown you before, like the Darling in the Franxx. But
Mhm.
just the quality of it, just like the art is just so good, so on point. Um, and like the other one, and I'm sure you all have seen this in my videos, is the Rent a Girlfriend
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
one. Those also came with rods as well. So it's kind of hard to determine whether or not like they'll actually have these included, and you can slide them in. But like I said before, it's pretty easy to get them framed as well. You just
Mhm.
have to know what you're looking for. Um, so yeah, so there's that, and then I've got slide this one out here. This is the Terran Resonance.
Yeah, I like that one. I keep staring
Um,
at
this
it.
is this is an animate store bonus for getting all 6 volumes.
Hmm.
I don't own the show. I actually found this on From Japan for like $20.
Well, I own the American release. Can I have it?
I have the American release too, so no.
Maybe you too can find him from Japan.
Probably. I don't
um,
actively hunt down the tapestries because yeah, I don't have the room really. So if I see them and I'm there and I have the money, that's when I usually like, okay.
It has to come to you, is what you're saying.
That's come to me, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is with conventions and whatnot. You see a lot of the different tapestries that are a lot bigger than what Brandon was mentioning, but
Oh yeah.
are made like in the U.S. by like Crunchyroll or whatnot, and those are official usually. The ones that you see like on the walls on most of the dealers' rooms there, that you can just buy there for
Yeah.
like $20 or something.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and yeah, like the dealer's rooms, like you kind of know like what you're gonna look for, like, and it's cool. When I went to Anime Central earlier this year, that was kind of the same deal. I mean, there were some vendors that had legit stuff,
hmm
like straight from Japan, and
Yep.
other places that like maybe a little sketch where like maybe
Yeah.
they printed it on the material, you know, and that's when you gotta kind of like do some research and talk to the people there and just be like, hey, like what is this from? And you know, Asylum Anime, the place I go to, they were actually at several conventions I've been to over the last couple of years, and they get all their stuff from Japan, so
hmm
kind of one of the things, and they do carry tapestries there, so yeah,
Yeah, definitely be
yeah,
careful. Always ask if you're in having doubts.
yeah, oh yeah. This one I can't show you the whole
Uh,
thing because I am not that tall, but yeah, well,
Brandon, why do you have to keep
there you
on
go.
flexing here?
I just, you know, it's this is like one of my favorites.
I
This was
bet.
actually from Call the Night. It was an exclusive event when the show aired, and they have two different versions
Uh,
of Nana Usa, um, and different outfits. And this is one. And at the event, you could get the tapestry and or buttons with the same art or clear files. And then the other one is like a red background, her wearing like a completely different outfit. I'm trying to find that one because it's the same length as this one, and I like really want to find it. And I like the lettering too. It's like call the night. It says boy staying up late. Like I don't know. It's just kind of funny and ridiculous.
no, it works really well. Like,
A really nice tapestry of her, yeah. I can't stand the art like the face, but I do think that one's a nice one for that particular art
It's
style.
huge too.
yeah, and it's like life
Like
size in a way.
Mm.
yeah, this is one that I got from my anime group in November this year. This one, I did a little bit of research. I found out this is from a 1995 Shogakukan market, like a comic and basically it was a store display. So
Okay.
like they only had one of these, and the place that I actually found it last week when I was looking online, because I actually took a picture of it and I did a Google image search. I found out that it was a place called Mandrake. A seller was selling it. I tracked it down and I found out that just the other day that the one that was sold on Mandrake
Isn't it
was passed
Mandarake?
over to somebody in Japan who sold it to one of the guys that my friend Kurt, who owns Anime Asylum, knows. So that one is this one right here. So which is like crazy that it like got passed down so many times.
That's cool.
So
That's cool. You
yeah, but
got
it's
it.
from 1995. I don't know what the value of it is exactly, but I would imagine it's pretty rare if there's only like a few of them. But yeah, I love the art style. It's really cool.
It's cool that you actually found the history behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's another thing about like collecting stuff. I feel like it's one of those things that like that's another part of it is like I want to like learn more about, you know, where stuff comes from and like the rarity of them. Not necessarily because I would want to sell it. I never do. It's like awful. But um just because like I would I would just want to like you said, know the history, you know,
hmm
and like how many copies are there of a specific tapestry or poster, or they only made a limited amount of copies of one show, and like it's interesting. So I don't know, it's cool when stuff like that kind of falls into your lap and you're able to find like super rare stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's all my tapestries. Well, I mean, I've got the Macross Frontier one I've got back here.
Yeah, I saw that when you were
Um,
spinning around earlier.
yeah, that's from the movie. That was a bonus for getting the movie. And then I've got this is more of a poster, but it's the promotional ad for
Oh,
uh,
Utana.
Revolutionary Girl Utana's first volume on DVD. So DVD and Laserdisc and VHS. So, but yeah, I think that's my whole. Oh yeah, and then the My Dress Up Darling one in the back over
You
here.
can't forget
So
about that one.
I know, right? Yeah, this one over here. So that one.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
I've got the Kogami. I'll have to take my laptop over because this one's just as long as the Call of the Night.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's
I saw
Shinya
that too from
Kogami.
Psychopaths. Yeah.
Yeah, my anime group is actually watching Psychopaths for Noitimina Nights right now. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So, one of my friends hadn't seen it before, and I was like, "Oh, you're in for a treat."
Are you watching
Just,
So
all the
yeah, so
seasons?
yeah,
what's
until second
that?
season.
Aren't you
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
all the seasons from like 1 to like what 4 or 5 now or something?
Yeah, so actually, what my anime group is doing, we're watching all the Noitimina anime that aired on that programming block, started in 2005. We're watching all of them scheduled by air date.
Ooh.
So within 3 years, we've already watched 5 years of content.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. So,
Pretty good.
but anyway, yeah, going back to Tapestries, like I don't know, that's like one of the best like sets aside from like storage boxes for me because like I know I can't like hang all of them up as much as I would.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about the illustrations and the artwork rather than anything else. And I like just like the fact that how detailed they can be, and especially like when it's stuff that's would never be in the show, like the girls from Fate going on a picnic. I'm like, that's adorable, but like that would never happen. Like, so yeah. Does anybody have any like tapestry stuff or things to share or questions or?
I have, I have like a lot of tapestries that I can't really bring over here. I did have two that were near me that are just still in the bags. Nothing.
Bags.
Yeah, the bags,
Yeah,
like
the plastic tubes.
yeah, it's like so here. I don't know if you can see it. It's just a Cowboy Bebop. It's got Spike right there, and then
Okay.
it's just
Yeah, those are the ones we were talking about beforehand.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
type. And then I have this Sailor Moon one that I found. Of course, I collect everything, so trying to get it so it's not
cool.
so.
Okay.
But yeah, I have like other ones that are I have like a Yu Yu Hakusho and I just have a bunch, but you're right, a lot of Sephiroths. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Is there any? Are there any like tapestries of like shows that you all would want to own?
Good
Like
question.
maybe you've seen online? Yeah. What's up?
Oh yeah, Banana Fish.
Anything from Hatsune Miku, Fate, but kind of like the Science-Gate one's pretty cool. Anything with Kurisu in there is going to be attractive. ReZero, yeah. No matter what, if this one of my main fears, if I get involved with another doodad like that, how much more do I, do I have to deal with? Because there's always going to be rare ones, numbered ones, special editions. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to have all this stuff, and so it's one of those ones that I said, well, maybe leave that one lie. And if something comes up, something extraordinary as I gotta have, then I'll say, okay, have to deal. I'll deal with it. But again, if I had one, garden centers, of course, my favorite ones. I'll be focusing on my top 10 anime ones. I'll probably be doing something like that. So garden centers and Steins Gate and ReZero stuff. I can see myself quickly delving because I think I went on a something called a shirashi. I think it's called a shirashi. It's basically a
Yeah.
small movie poster like that. I had a friend of mine that got one and got showed a couple, and I said, that's kind of cool, man. And they have different shows, and pretty soon I had two binders full about this this thick each one. I said, well, maybe I got to a point where it's time for me to kind of like hand back a little bit. Because I had like they're pretty cheap. They just keep on coming in 10 or 20 at a time. I said, well, maybe some.
Right.
Something if I get the bug on it, I don't might get kind of like if I'll get fixated on it. So that might be it. There might be something. I really don't have a whole lot of room to hang stuff like my home. I got some spaces I can put things into, so that's a possibility.
Probably look for I don't know if you're familiar with 12 Kingdoms, but it has such beautiful cover
Oh
art.
yeah, 12 Kingdoms is great.
Tapestries for that one. Or even Violet Evergarden, that's got beautiful artwork. I bet that would make some really nice tapestries. I'm sure there's some out there. And
There's a 100% probability of that. Yeah.
yeah, but 12 Kingdoms, it would be
Oh yeah.
nice to get some artwork for that. Because I don't know if you've never seen 12 Kingdoms, you really should. It's just unfortunate. It was supposed to be a really long series, but they ended up having to cut the anime short, so it's actually unfinished. And unfortunately, they never finished the novels either. So it's like,
That's
Yeah,
disappointing.
honestly, that particular show had several different versions that came out. I think I want to say one was from one was from like Media Blasters, maybe. One from Funi. They had several different sets. Different versions of the same thing. So yeah, it's about what 51 episodes or so.
yeah, I think it was supposed to be like 90 something episodes, and they ended up cutting it by like 54 or something like that.
Yeah, it kind of has this Fushuga Yugi like vibe to it.
It does. It was actually really nicely done, and if you got at first, I hated the main character, but if you got past that like first few or like the half of the season, you ended up really liking the character. You're like, okay, you're rooting for her, and that was nice. And I don't think a lot of people gave the anime a chance because she was pretty annoying in the first episode. Like she was one of those, oh my god, why is this happening to me? I'm like, oh god, just get over it. You're queen now. And so I really wish some more people gave 12 Kingdoms more chance, and I think the anime would have gotten further if people did.
Like I said, it might be something good. So, Brandon, if you wanted to go to a place where you can get a fair quantity of tapestries online, because I don't have any over here in the boondocks. I don't have anything. What kind of storage would you recommend that I kind of check out?
Something I would recommend doing. Let's see. I mean, I've gotten stuff from Amazon Japan before. You just have to type in like I said before, like the name of the show in Japanese, and then B2, or B1, or A2 or A1. Like the dimension size. You may end up finding like clear files or actual posters, rather than tapestries. But from Japan is like one of the best places to find anime merchandise. Like I haven't found anything like better than that. Like eBay US, you can find some pretty rare stuff like that Space Dandy tapestry that I have right there.
Yep.
That one is an Animate Store bonus for getting. It was like either volumes 1 through 5 or 6 through 11 or 6 through 10. But that one I actually found on eBay US by a seller, and it was brand new. And Space Dandy merch is like impossible to find,
Oh gosh,
especially
yeah.
when it's like a DVD Blu-ray bonus straight from Japan. It's like holy crap. So if you kind of know what you're looking for, search on eBay. But from Japan is like,
I
oh
was
my
on
gosh, watch that video I posted because on the Animazing Collectors group, because it kind of gives you a little bit of information about like what to type, what to search for, that kind of thing.
I was on a Geeky Nerd, which is a comic shop in Oregon, but they do live sales on Facebook, and they had the Space Dandy manga for like 10 or $8 each. And if you look up the Space Dandy manga, it's not worth $8 anymore. It's hard to find.
Hmm.
So I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, give me those.
Yeah, that stuff is really, really tough to find. And like
Yeah.
when you're going through and you're looking and you're searching for tapestries, like I said before, just type in like the Tokuten bonus, which I posted in that video before on the collectors group. Just the Japanese characters for the Tokuten, and then type in whatever dimension size. And you may find what you're looking for, you may not, or you may find something that might surprise you. That's the beauty of from Japan because it's always being updated 24/7.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
because sellers or people that don't want the stuff that they've been collecting for a while and maybe they never opened it, And that's the charm about a lot of, about quite a few collectors in Japan that I've noticed, especially searching on the site, is that they're going to try to sell it brand new, and it's not even been opened. So yeah, so I'd recommend doing like from Japan. Um, that's a really good option. And then, like I said, Amazon Japan. So if there's a particular show you're looking in pre-ordering on Blu-ray or DVD, and they have a bonus Tapestry item, try to track down the store that has that tapestry and try to order from it. So like I know Animate International, that's their international store. They've been carrying a lot of Japanese merchandise. You can order through them, like Spy X Family. That's where I got that set from. You can also order from SoftMap, has an overseas shop now, which is huge, absolutely huge. And so does, I think Gamers has one now too. So they may not carry everything that the Japanese site offers, but they do have a lot of the stuff that the US wouldn't necessarily have available. So, I mean, it's just kind of digging around, searching online. But my main source would be from Japan, would be the website. It's like fromjapan.co.jp. Just a overall really great website to find anime merchandise and that kind of thing. I know there's Tapestries for Carol on Tuesday. That's like one show that I'm like desperately looking for. Um, but yeah, I would say that that's probably the best route to go. And as far as collecting goes, like if you're going to start collecting them, just start with the shows that you know first, and see if they do carry those kinds of bonus items. Yeah, so I would say yeah, that's really about it.
So what's stopping you, Roger? Tell me what ails you on your quest here on tapestries.
Well, because Tapestry has the potential to be a limitless item. Pretty soon, if you have 100, 200, 300, 500, I mean, what's the, what's the end game? What is the purpose? Is it going to be a theme kind of thing? Is it going to be by a series? Is it going to be a limited thing? Is it going to be something maybe if I find that they're special releases only? Not only that, but knockoffs as well is going to be a problem. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I would, unless I stick with the same, with the, with certain stores like, you know, Brandon was talking about, then that'd be a shot in the dark if I try to do, wider searches. I just feel that with tapestries, it's going to be kind of a minor thing in my viewpoint. It's just because there's such much potential of getting deep into something different. Like I did, like I wasn't really planning to get involved with figures, for instance. It's like, no, that's going to be something I'm not going to be dealing with. Just maybe one became the two. Then hey, I like that one, and three, four. Now I got five on order. And so, I must admit they have their charms about them. I have boxes just hanging out, and I just have to decide what the collection is going to be. I mean, it's going to be a story-driven one where you have scenes. Is it going to be just random stuff thrown in there? Is it going to be through a single anime or a single focus like Hatsune Miku or something like that? When you get to 50 or 60, now you start having issues like that where you have displays. If you have 2,000 3,000 square house and you want to fill fill the walls with cool stuff, then tapestries is a way of making it happen. Posters, tapestries, hang wall scrolls and stuff like that. And in my case, I have a much smaller place, so I have to kind of be methodical. So does the math support it? Is there a purpose to it? Is it from a favorite show? Is it limited? Is it particularly well made? I don't know. There's so many different variables on that. It's not, it's, I don't try to sound ingenuous. It's just that, if I do buy tapestry, what I'm going to do with it? It's going to be a hang up. It's going to be in boxes. It's going to be in storage. It's something I'll be looking every day. So I'm curious about. I like a manga or like the closest derivative I have from that. It would probably be an art book. But art books are fascinating since you can look up the images, you can categorize them, you can. There's also other stuff that comes in with the book, with with the interviews and such. When you look at a tapestry, it's like when you look at a poster. there's going to be a certain amount of emotional attachment to it. Then after that, you have to decide if does the value of it mean you need to display it, or does it not? You know,
I have
I,
one problem with art books that I just want to get off my chest. Japan. Okay, I like when you guys put a picture poster out and you can see the whole image, but when you take a whole image and put it on 2 pages inside and you have the
the
stupid crease,
centerfold.
it's no, not even a center. I mean, it's like it's just the 2 pages, and you open it up and it's like, but you still have that crease in the middle. It kind of hurts the image. I hate it when they do that, but they do that with
Hmm.
some of the images, and you're like, why?
Yeah, it's best not to think of it that way.
True, like my licorice recoil one I have, there's still a crease, like goes this way and this way. It's all right. I mean, it's not like totally noticeable, like if you get up close, but if you get up
Well, no,
close, like you
the
notice
art
it.
book
But
where when you open it, you have an image on what left page, image on right page, and if you're lucky, they do the whole big image on like a pull-out poster type. But sometimes the whole picture is on the 2 pages, and you have to like open it at an angle to see the whole picture because
yeah,
and I don't know why they do that. It's like, okay, I get the poster pull out, where you can unfold it and you can see the image. That I like, but when it's a full page spread on 2 images, on 2 pages, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's just why, why?
I also think like um with like Roger, what you were saying about it's the whole idea of the collector's dilemma. You know, like where is that stopping point, and does the item that you're wanting to purchase, does it have enough meaning and value to you as a collector to want to make that investment in purchasing that? You know, and I feel like it's one of those things, especially with tapestries, like that whole idea we had in our earlier podcast about that collector's dilemma of space,
Mhm.
and determining whether or not do we want to display, like these tapestries here over other ones that maybe I've, shown or that kind of thing, and somebody had the right idea not too long ago about they had said that they switch out their posters every 3 months, and I think that's a great idea. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool because it kind of revitalizes your your space as a collector, and refreshing it, So I think that's a really cool idea. I might start doing that actually, um, but yeah, I mean, it goes back to that. And with like the folding things, yeah, it can be a little annoying, especially with those creases and all that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's one of those things with tapestries. But yeah, I just kind of like ignore it a little bit.
Yeah,
And
that doesn't bother me as much with the tapestries or anything like that, because you could still see the full picture, and that's nice.
yeah, yeah, it's cool. Like the art. I mean, I've seen some stuff online that I've really wanted to purchase, but like the tapestry is like freaking enormous. And I don't even know what the dimensions are, but I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's just no way that I could like display this as much as I would want to, because it would eliminate, let's say, two, maybe three of these pieces of art, and I'd have to put that one up, whereas I would like to have three on there instead of just one. So yeah, it's also that too, as far as like collecting
Oh, with
tapestries
all the
goes.
room you got on your walls, you can easily place those elsewhere. And put
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I've actually thought about putting something right there, um, but I just don't know what yet. Um, so yeah. But I don't know. I think one of the big reasons also why I like collecting tapestries is the rarity of them, especially if it's a show that's not well known,
yeah, those are always.
like Rakugo or Pet. It's kind of cool that they do bonus items for shows like that. It's funny because I watched one of the worst shows I've ever seen. It's
Mhm.
called Gibeot. Awful show, poorly animated. I felt so bad for Yoshitaka Amano. He's the character designer of all the artwork for Final Fantasy. He
Yeah.
did the character designs on this show, and I'm like, this guy has no luck when it comes to anime. Because like there was one he did also not too long ago that was like really bad too, and
Oh.
I just feel bad for the guy. I love his art, and that's why I wanted to see the show, but the show was it just sucked so
What
bad.
Were there like
It
space
was
or
basically like a blend of like feudal Japan, but in
oh
modern day society. There's a samurai fighting horribly done CGI bugs, and I'm like, what is going on? What's funny, when the Blu-rays came out, it was like, hey, we're gonna do a pre-order basis and like do almost like a Kickstarter thing where based on how many pre-orders you get. So it's like Odd Taxi, where like based on how many pre-orders you get will increase the amount of bonuses that you get. And I think it got so popular because it was so bad that that
Wow.
it actually came with a tapestry, and I'd like love to have that tapestry because the art
Definitely.
is great. Don't
Was
get
it
me wrong.
Bugu or Mushu Bugu, something like that?
It's called Gibiat.
GBI, okay. I think
Yeah, Gibiate. It just sucks. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's great. Um, but yeah, I mean, even if it's a show I don't may not necessarily like thoroughly enjoy, and I want to get the tapestry, I'm like, heck yeah, I'll invest. You know, so um, but yeah, that's my little rant on tapestries and my collection, and I think that's all the tapestries I have actually. Now that I've got two down in my anime screening room, but one's Honey and Clover, and the other one is Woltekoi.
Ed, how about you?
About what?
Well, let's talk about tapestries.
Well,
Yeah,
again, I just think from a tapestry standpoint, especially if you have the space on the wall, it's just a great way to diversify your love of a show. Especially if it's your like top five or whatnot. If you see something, especially if it's official from Japan, and you find it, it's like a great way to accent your wall, and it helps quite a bit. As of again, limited space, that's part of the issue. As mentioned before, if you have a lot of them, you can just swap them out every like season or every couple months, depending on your schedule, just to kind of refresh your space and have more of a clear mindset from that standpoint. But I think it's just part of balancing your area and seeing really appreciating the art that's around you, and again part of the collecting mindset of again if it's something rare, again most of the time we want to buy it. Um, um, yeah, but if it's something common, it's like, well, you might still get it because it's either cheap or you just love the show. So we have all different reasons
I have
for it.
Sailor Moon.
Right, exactly. So if it's something you love, like Sailor Moon's, like, hey, go and buy it and try to put it around. So that's why I would suggest that if you have some space there, Roger, you can still put some more tapestries around. You don't have to go all in deep on it. It's not like you're deep in figures as much as some people might think you are. You have a good amount. Don't get me wrong, more than the average, but again, you don't have to go deep on tapestries either. Just find ones that interest you, and then just put it up. You don't have to go all in. I don't think tapestries is really something you can go all. Well, you can like with anything, but I feel it's not something you see as often as like physical media for anime, manga. Those are more again easily found, usually, especially manga. But besides that point, tapestries, I feel like you just spread it around and like, not buy full on, which you can, but again, I would not suggest that for you, Roger.
I think like that's one of the cool things about collecting is like rearranging stuff and like your collector's space. That's like a cool part of it. And tapestries, at least for me, play kind of a large part in determining, what do I want to hang up,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. And so space is another thing, especially tapestries affect that widely, way above collecting DVDs and Blu-rays. Like it really does. But having that like way to just reorganize. Do I want to move this shelf over here as opposed to over here? Do I want to move my Cowboy Bebop poster from this side to this side?
Hmm.
What do I want to hang next to it? That's like the fun of it all, I think.
Hmm.
I think it's really cool. But yeah, it's definitely like you were saying, you can go all in if you want, but it's also like tapestries may be a little bit more difficult to have that kind of like mindset, I guess, as far as like that's where it hits the space aspect of it a lot.
indeed.
Yeah, and as mentioned before, it's usually better just to buy it from, from either from Japan or a site that buys from
Yeah.
Japan directly, or a dealer that you can trust that buys things as well. Um, Again,
Like
the
How
this,
would you
easiest
know?
way
There's
is,
no way of knowing if it's genuine or not from a picture.
yeah, yeah,
You know, this,
because
honestly,
so if
that's
you're not an expert, if they look, you got to closely feel it. You got to
hmm
smell it. You got to look at it. Can't do that from a picture. You know, it's hard enough with the anime and the manga ripoffs and all that kind of stuff. You know, but anything to do with Japanese goods are easily replicable. You know, it's there'll be 10,000 million ones of whatever series it is, and you pick it up, say, hey, it looks so cool, then find out 5 years later, hey, it's a bootleg.
Yeah, and I think it's easier for the US, or at least more of, again, domestic market, is for finding anything that's legit. It's usually easier to find it on the bottom right corner of the tapestry, and if you can see it's coming from, say, Crunchyroll or GE, that's pretty much a huge indicator that this is legit. If you don't see any of that in, like, again, American size or like a domestic sized tapestries, then that's where you have to, okay, question it and say, okay, is this really licensed per se? Because if it's with the black poles on the top and bottom, and if you don't see that, I gotta say chances are it's a bootleg or
yeah,
unlicensed.
yeah. And
Um,
honestly,
What is
most
this?
people who have tapestries are probably not even like big time tapestry collectors. They just want it because of the show. And at that point, there's a lot of mom and pop shops that are gonna have those fakey versions that they printed out but you know what? I say if that's what you can get and you're not going for resale or anything like that, you just want to decorate your room. There's no problem in that.
yeah, just know
It's
what you're getting yourself into.
yeah, just not don't be like, yeah, this is my prized Macross 7 wall scroll. It's legit, which probably doesn't exist at all. Yeah,
Yeah, who knows? Because again, like Brandon was saying also before, there's no true database of all the tapestries
right.
they ever made. Like you have to search Twitter, you have to search like different
No,
underground Japanese
there's not.
websites. It's crazy at times. Just see what came out.
It's like if you had that fascination with those pin button things with the metal pin on the back. How are you going to find out all of them have been released on a certain show?
Hmm
You know, you want to get all the Dragon Ball Z buttons, or all the Sailor Moon buttons, or all the Gundam buttons, or the Sergeant Frog buttons, or the infinite number of different possibilities of combinations of everything of all sizes. I've seen big button, small button. It's the same thing, man. Yeah, how the heck are you going to categorize that? You know, just simply if you found something you really liked, and then you said it's going to hang up, it's going to be in the sunshine, or is it going to be safe, safe in a dark place where he goes, I don't want to show it off because I know it's just too much value on it. I need to save. I need to keep it safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to collectors' preferences, or just what you want in the end day. And yeah, tapestries are definitely one of those interesting spaces that there's a lot out there, and it's best to be educated, but even then, it's not easy,
Yeah.
especially if you're going to the import side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So
I feel like it's one of those things that it's like harder to regulate what is authentic or not
Hmm
when it comes to tapestries as opposed to collecting Blu-rays or DVDs or video games.
hmm
It's harder to figure that out. And like I would say another suggestion is if you're wanting to look for the authentic stuff, um, save the image from the actual anime website that has the pictures of the bonus items, and then do a Google image search.
yeah.
I've done that before.
hmm
That way, you may find it showing up on Twitter, and then somebody posts about, oh, they got this one, and then, and then you do further research on it. So it is good to be like educated as far as like the bonus items go, like the tapestries, and because you don't want to get like foiled to the point where like you get sold some item and it's not even like what you
Legend.
were looking for at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That'd be a humdinger because I'm like back in the day when I started doing like CD collecting. I said one day I went to the store and said, "Hey, what's this?" I thought this thing was like $80. It's like 20, $30 in Sanmei. Never heard of them before, but it has all the soundtracks. Let's buy them. So I kept on buying those. I kept my CD collections all bootleg. I said, "Oh man, it sucks." It's gonna be difficult to try to find these things for any kind of reasonable price. But that's what I was concerned about with tapestries. Anything like that is gonna be I think it would be kind of tough unless you know what you're looking for. You got somebody with you that can help you, or just order from a Legend site. Being Legend being directly from Japan, going through Anna, going through a big store, something like that. But yeah, that's going to be a very interesting journey if I decide to go with to see how many do I really need to have. See, before to think about it, always thinking about having how many should I have. It says no to maybe just one. Is how many should I think about doing? That looks cool. Pretty soon I have 10 or 20, 10 or 20. And this, oh, it's so cool. Look at this. Like I got to compare notes. Yeah, it's just another item that can potentially explode. But I am fascinated by this here art book. So
You can't get away from the art book, apparently.
oh well, that's my other passion. If it wasn't for anime or manga, art books would be my thing. I like them. I like them. I like them. I like them.
I like my art books too. I don't have like a whole bunch. I have a whole bunch, but I have like they're not easy to get to at the moment. But I still buy a few now and then. But man, I really like those older anime art books with the vintage kind of black and white stuff in the middle and all that. I kind of miss how art books were back in the day. Some of the art books now are great, but I don't know. It's hard to explain, I guess. I like the style of the old ones.
Hmm.
When you have a big enough collection, you can actually go through different eras. Going from how far back. I don't know how far back art books go. I mean, if it's anime, it can only go back to 1963, somewhere around there.
Right.
That's forward. So you don't have going back 3,000 years. Now, before that, it would be just like artwork. Be whatever Japanese artwork it is. What kind of figures you want, or the blue wave thing, if you want to get something from that artist. So if there's going to be a finite amount of time frame to deal with, art books is simply is something I really like because you have a lot of stuff in a small footprint, and plus you can look at it and again have good stories, from stories information from it.
I totally agree. I mean, the same could be said for like even clear files too. I mean, I've got like
Oh yeah.
stack of clear files and
Oh
like
my god, you're talking about
so many. Like
I have a whole binder and
yeah,
backpack full of clear files. I love clear files.
yeah, and I like the posters too. Like I have
Well, he gets that. I get a lot of clear files from those no, sorry, Megami and New Type magazines. And like every year they'll put like maybe 5 of them will have clear files in it. I love it.
so like I ordered this from Amazon Japan, and it's a giant poster to hold. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. I want to say it's B2 size posters, and
Nice.
so
That's a nice portfolio size.
what's
Yeah.
that?
That's a nice portfolio size.
Oh,
right
thank you.
Yeah.
So like I have like this Honey and Clover Halloween. It was like DVD Volume 5 in Japan.
Nice.
And then like it's a great thing. I think it has like something like 32 pages in it. I can fit posters, but it reduces space like
Oh
greatly.
yeah. I
And I
don't
wish
have
there was
that
like
big.
a folder for tapestries. Like I think that would be like super cool if they made something like that. I don't know if it exists, but if it did, like it would be great because I can still display it, because I can always pull out the art, and like this is like not a good way for me to do this. Let's
It's
see.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little
Um,
hard to showcase
Yeah,
so
for
like
sure.
like
one of those, but it's smaller. It's not quite that big.
so like Star Driver the movie,
Very nice.
and then like Gurren Lagann. So yeah, I mean it's hard to like find stuff, that you can display. Um, I mean, I wish that like HMV exclusive Madoka. I just wish there was a way to display them in a folder for tapestries, because that would save
Yeah,
me so much space. I mean,
I
yeah,
know. I
well,
wish they had.
especially my regular posters too. I mean, I've got like a ton of those. That just like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I mean, I just have like so many just regular Japanese sized posters. It's like hard to find, what to post. I mean,
Yeah,
to display.
you can get them from Michaels. These things. Like I have a smaller size one that I got for some of my not that one, but like some of the posters you can get at like Anime Expo.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's some K and because Anime Expo, you get these posters for free.
Yep.
And like I have a
Yeah.
tiger and bunny and a blue exorcist one.
Oh, I've got the Blue Exorcist one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one's cool.
and then here's a Berserk and an SL World one.
Even like, stuff like, because I went to go see The Boy and the Heron, and I have the movie poster for that because they
When
give
I
out a
went to
poster.
E3, there was this one.
Oh yeah,
And, the
that's
Final
cool.
Fantasy Remix or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was at E3.
And where'd you get the folder at? You said Michael's.
Yeah, you can get them at Michaels.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, because I've got like weird dimension sizes for some of the other storage.
Yeah, you get different sizes. I went to town when I was getting these.
Yeah.
My Rune Sasaki autograph.
Oh wow, that's
Oh
cool.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I have two of those because she was there twice.
I think it's also hard to determine, how to display them in a folder, because they may not be like the same dimension size either.
Yeah.
So like with Licorice Recoil, I mean I've got like a clear file that's like this. It's like
Bigger version. Yeah.
rectangular, larger. And then you've got like even a larger one that's like Boogie Pop Phantom, where it's like a hologram.
Oh, that's cool.
It
I like
just
that.
like changes from night to day.
I like that one.
Um, and then like Fate was slightly smaller, so there's like this one also, and it's like more of a translucent like style poster, but it's hard to determine, how do you want to display them, um, especially like in a folder, so no, it's difficult. It is. Um, but yeah, that's my my little
Thank you for
tidbit on.
sharing. We
Yeah,
knew
you're
you would be.
welcome.
We knew you'd be the big sharer on this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like collecting in general. I just think it's fun,
You have
and
a very nice
I just love
collection.
anime. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I love this group because you guys have a huge collection. I don't even know how I stumbled upon. I found someone had a picture. It was on the side. I'm like, well, check out that collection. And so I requested to join, and Roger was very welcoming. And you guys are just great, and your guys are all bad influences because it's like, okay,
Good.
I want that too.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you are welcome. You are very welcome.
But and it's cool, and I'm glad that I'm part of this circle, Chad, because it's nice to see. Especially, I really do. I wish Ed would show himself, but
Maybe
I
one
do
day.
enjoy it. I don't know what you're hiding from.
We can wear one of those Gundam masks or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh
there
Yeah,
my
you
there you
go.
gosh,
go.
that would be awesome.
That would be great. Or,
Have a voice distorter on.
yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if I can find a Char helmet like that.
Cool.
Well, listen, guys, I have to get going, but I just want to say thank you so much for having me, and
Yeah,
this was very fun. This was very fun.
Let's do this again.